All right, everybody. Now, today is Friday the 20th, and some things have not changed in the national media. And we see it reflected in our attitudes. We see it reflected in our social media posting. The thing is, the media is still peddling fear, and we're still buying what they're peddling, and we need to stop. There's parallels between now and 1933. In 1933, we had been in a depression for 3 years. Out of about 24,000 banks, roughly 11,000 of those banks had failed. The depositors and the investors lost everything in those banks, and we had millions of people in unemployment. That led to FDR being elected. When he was elected, he gave his first inaugural address. And in the first paragraph, he said this: "This is preeminently the time to speak truth, the whole truth, frankly and boldly. Nor need we shrink from honestly facing conditions in our country today. This great nation will endure as it has endured, will revive, will prosper. So first of all, let me assert my firm belief that the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. Nameless, unreasoning, unjustified terror, which paralyzes needed efforts to convert retreat into advance." So that's the thing. Do we want to give rise to fear? Do we want to feed that fear? Do we want to feed the media's peddling of that fear and continue to retreat within ourselves? Or do we want to propel ourselves forward and rebuild and find the new normal? Because make no mistake, what has happened and the actions taken by the government, state, local, and federal, has led to conditions on a worldwide stage that the new normal that we will find when we come out of this is going to look different. How different it's going to be, I don't know. We don't know, and no one knows when we will get back to that normal. I believe through the national call to prayer from our national leaders in our churches and the Americans that have come together to pray and pray for the nation in the quick ending of this, that this will not last as long as projected. I believe it will come to a head sooner than later. I believe we will return to a new normal. I can't say return to a new normal. It will be a new normal. I believe that the normal that we come into has an opportunity for us to come out as a stronger, more unified nation. I believe this is a time that we can look at it as metal being run through a blast furnace and the impurities being burned out and it being just a red hot molten lava being poured into a new cast. And as that hardens, you get a stronger, more resilient, more pure product. I believe that's what we can have for this nation. I believe that we can leave a legacy. I believe we can come out of this and leave a legacy for our children, our grandchildren, and our great-grandchildren. A legacy that will be much like those of old. Consider the author of Hebrews talked about hope and faith. See, we have to have hope and faith to grow and to come out of this and to restore and rebuild. We have to have hope and faith to have a vision. Without a vision, we have no growth. We have no advancement. All we have is a continued retreat and withdrawal into ourselves like we see right now. Consider what the author of Hebrews wrote. He wrote this in chapter 11, verses 1 and 2, and he says, "Faith shows the reality of what we hope for. It is the evidence of things we cannot see. Through their faith, the people in days of old earned a good reputation." So even the people of old in America have earned a good reputation. They were a very resilient people, a people with grit, a people with vision, a hard-working people, a people that built the nation. These are the people that sailed on a little rickety ship from Holland to Portsmouth. These are the people that expanded westward from the Atlantic to the Pacific, built a railroad where there never was a railroad, that went to Panama and built the first canal to link the East and the West. These are the same people that got us through World War I, got us through a Great Depression. These are the same people that got us through World War II. These are the greatest generation. Guys, they left us a legacy. It's a legacy that we cannot let down. It's a legacy that we have to embrace. We have to have the same grit, the same can-do attitude. We can't let the fear of the unknown rule us. See, people have lost jobs and are losing income. They don't know when they'll come back to work. People don't know if their businesses will pick back up. That leads to fear. That fear leads to desperation, depression, anxiety, and division, because we let emotions rule. When emotions rule, no good decisions come from it. So I ask you this: keep the faith. Don't be afraid to pray. Look to the future. Have a vision. Turn off the media. Don't buy the fear that they're peddling. Turn it off. Find something to feed you that's lift you up, that's positive. Come together. Now's not a time for division. Even with our state governors and our federal leaders, we need to unite, just like the people had to unite in 1933 around FDR's address and what he wanted to do with the nation. Just imagine at this time period, a lot of people didn't have electricity. You know, if they want to listen to the radio, they would go to the general store and they crowd around the radio and listen. You know, if you happen to have a radio in your home, you and maybe your neighbors and your family, that was your entertainment. That was how you got news. You could sit around this new thing, this radio, and you could listen to the president address the nation, and you would hear what he said before the newspapers got to distort it. You know, I don't agree with everything he did, but he did unite the nation. He did use his bully pulpit to bring the people together, those that agreed and those that disagreed. For again, they had the strength and unity of a common purpose and a common vision. That's what I'm asking you today to have. Have that common purpose, have that common vision, look to a future. Don't let a virus, don't let the loss of a job, don't let the loss of income affect you into desperate measures. These are not desperate times. We are the most prosperous nation. We have been richly blessed with abundance of natural resources, and just the potential here is amazing. No other nation has it. No other nation will give you the opportunity to dream and worship and build something like the United States will give you. You're not held back by where you were born, by what your name is, or by the income that you came into. Use this as a chance to reinvent yourself, to remake yourself. Don't give up hope. Don't fear. And don't despair. For we are a richly blessed nation.